Good day. We are the Group 1. I am Clan Troy Kiman.
And I am Joselito Calderon.
I am Madeline Medina.
I am Chini Dilag.
I'm Adeline Coronado.
My name is Micaela Alumbuan.
And I am Alphamay Turalba Estrella.
And we are going to discuss about the 21st century of Philippine literature, genres across the globe. And our target learners are the grade 12 students in their first quarter. Now, here is Mr. Joselito Calderon to discuss about the content standard, so unit summary.
Okay, for our content standard, the learner will be able to understand and appreciate the elements and context of 21st century Philippine literature from the regions. And for our performance standard, the learner will be able to demonstrate understanding and appreciation of 21st century Philippine literature from the regions through, first, a written close analysis and critical interpretation of a literary text in terms of form and theme, with a description of its context derived from research. And second, an adaptation of a text into another creative forms using multimedia. And for our learning competencies, the students will differentiate, compare, and contrast the various 21st century literary genres and the ones from the earlier genres or period, citing their elements, structures, and traditions. And for our unit summary, in this unit, grade 12 student will explore the vibrant world of 21st century Philippine literature with a focus on literary works from the various regions of the country. Over a span of 40 hours, they will engage in the appreciation and critical study of regional texts, examining their elements, structures, genres, context, and cultural traditions. Through reading and analyzing contemporary literary pieces, student will gain a deeper understanding of how literature reflects the values, experience, and identities of different Filipino communities. You will also discover how regional literature contributes to the national literary landscape, highlighting both the uniqueness and interconnectedness of Philippine cultures. By the end of the unit, students are expected to demonstrate cultural awareness, critical thinking, and an appreciation for the diversity of literary voices in the Philippines. They will also enhance their skills in literary analysis and creative expressions through a variety of engaging and meaningful activities. And for our student objectives, the learning outcomes, Ms. Madeline Medina will discuss this matter.
So, aligned with our curriculum competency, we have crafted here the student objectives / the learning outcomes. So, for our day 1, through an introductory PowerPoint lecture presentation, the students will be able to identify the 21st century literary genres through genre hunt activity, express critically how 21st century literary genres reflect personal experiences through a group discussion, and demonstrate their understanding of 21st century literary genres by creating their own digital output. Next is for our daily procedures. So for our daily procedure, we have here, to begin the session, the teacher will start the class with a short prayer to set a respectful and focused tone. Next is the teacher will let the students do the genre hunt, decode the clues activity, which will be discussed later on by Ms. Lumbuan. Next is the teacher will proceed to the thorough discussion about the different genres of 21st century literary works using a PowerPoint presentation. So in this PowerPoint presentation, the teacher will discuss the 12 genres such as illustrated novels, DG fiction, graphic novels, manga, doodle fiction, textula, creative non-fiction, hyperpoetry, chick lit, speculative fiction, flash fiction, and lastly, the blogs. So to deepen the understanding of these students, the teacher will discuss the characteristics and importance of 21st century literary genres, whereas it will highlight how these genres reflect and shape modern culture. It will also offer examples of how they tackle social and cultural issues. Then it will encourage students to connect the features of these genres to their own experiences. It will also reinforce their learning, validate students' responses, and it will also provide relatable examples. So after that, to apply their learning creatively, the teacher will also present another activity which is called the Create Your Own activity, which will be discussed and explained to you by Miss Estrella. So after that particular activity, at that point or at this point, the teacher will check whether the class has achieved the targeted learning objectives through observations and outputs. And lastly, the teacher will provide an assignment that will serve as the student's ticket for class admission the next day. Now let's move on into the next part of this learning plan. We have here the materials and resources required for the unit that will be discussed by Ms. Dilag.
Okay. So, for materials and resources required for the unit, for this unit on 21st century literary genres, we teachers ensure that all necessary materials and resources are well prepared to support an engaging and effective learning experience. These resources are grouped into 5 main categories, which is the technology that includes hardware and software, printed materials, supplies, online platforms, and key internet resources. First, for the hardware requirements, students will need access to desktops or laptops and smartphones. This will be used to scan QR codes, view digital content, and participate in online activities. A stable digital connection is also essential to ensure smooth access to the multimedia resources we will use throughout the unit. Next, for the software requirements, we will be using PowerPoint presentation for delivering lessons in a visual and organized format. A web browser is necessary for navigating online content, and a QR code generator will be used to create interactive stations for our January Hand activity. For printed materials, we will prepare handouts of the lesson, printouts of key visuals, and QR code images that will be displayed around the classroom. These physical materials will serve as both instructional guides and part of the interactive learning experience. The general classroom supplies we will use include writing materials, markers, and intermediate paper, which students will use during group discussion, reflection, and formative assessments. For online resources, we'll explore platforms such as YouTube for spoken word poetry and performance literature, Wattpad for story excerpts, blog sites for digital reflections, and graphic novel websites to showcase illustration-based genres. Lastly, our internet resources include both curriculum-based and real-world references that support the lesson's content. These include the official K-12 curriculum guide on 21st century literature from the Philippines and the world by DepEd, a video titled The 21st Century Literary Genres by Teacher Rod that is available on YouTube. A Wattpad story excerpt from Reddit, allowing students to see informal peer writing online. A powerful spoken word video from TEDx Talks that highlights performance poetry. A selection of graphic novels from OpenLibrary.org, and an informative article from Book Riot titled A Guide to Hypertext Literature, which introduces students to interactive digital text. And by preparing and utilizing this diverse set of materials and resources, we aim to provide students with multiple ways of learning, whether through text, visual, and interactivity or performance. while ensuring the lesson is aligned with both curriculum standards and students' interests in today's digital age. So for our accommodation and differentiated instruction, it will be discussed to you by Ms. Adeline Coronado.
So hello everyone. Today I'd like to share how we are going to be implementing accommodations to support differentiated instruction in our classroom. So these strategies are designed to ensure that every student, regardless of their learning needs, can thrive and succeed. So first is we have for struggling readers or students with learning disabilities. So to support students who faces challenges with reading or having learning disabilities, we are integrating the use of text-to-speech tools. These tools will help the students access content more effectively by reading the text aloud. So this allows them to focus on comprehension rather than decoding. Additionally, we'll provide a simplified version of text or summaries of the lessons, so to ensure that the students are able to grasp the core concepts without being overwhelmed by complex language or the lengthy passages. For students with learning needs or special learning needs, we'll use platforms like ClassKick to deliver real-time feedback and personalized assignments. This allows us to meet individual learning challenges with targeted support. We will also incorporate text-to-speech features like audio instructions and alternative formats such as videos and interactive activities. These options provide flexibility in how the students will receive and engage with the content, aligning with their unique learning preferences. So, lastly, we will provide additional time for the assignments and assessments because this will help accommodate those students who have specific learning needs to have more time to process information or demonstrate their understanding. So by using these accommodations, we aim to create a more inclusive and supportive environment that meets the needs of all our students. So this part will be further discussed by Ms. Coronado.
For students with visual impairments, we incorporate tactile models, audio recordings, and verbal descriptions to support and supplement the visual materials. We ensure that all instructional resources are accessible via screen readers or available in Braille when necessary. To provide additional support, we may use assistive apps like Seeing AI or Grammarly for real-time visual assistance. We also design presentations and documents using high contrast colors and larger fonts to improve readability and accessibility. For students with hearing impairments, we provide captions for videos and transcripts for audio materials to ensure they can fully engage with the content. We needed to arrange for live or recorded sign language interpreters to communicate effectively. We rely on visual elements such as charts, diagrams, and clear written instructions. During assessments, we allow extended time or break to accommodate their specific needs. For gifted students, we offer additional resources that allow them to explore more complex and advanced literary forms. We encourage them to participate in creative projects like debates, research, presentations, or multimedia work to further develop their analytical development. We also provide opportunities for self-paced learning to match their individual interests and intellectual abilities, along with more challenging tasks and assessments suited to their level. By applying these differentiated strategies, we teachers fosters an inclusive and supportive learning environment, an environment where every student, regardless of their ability or learning profile, is given the opportunity to thrive and succeed. The next part of formative assessment will be Ms. Lumbuan.
So for the formative assessment part of our lesson, we will be doing an activity called Genre Hunt Decode the Clues. So this will be a fun and interactive activity for the students to explore the different 21st century literary genres while moving around and working with their groupmates. So before the activity, the teacher, us, will place QR codes around the classroom. So each code links to a different type of digital or literary work. For example, like a spoken word video, a Wattpad excerpt, a blog post, a hypertext poem, or a graphic novel panel. So these are all provided in the internet sources we have cited earlier, discussed by Ms. So after this, students will then be divided into small groups. They'll go around the room scanning the QR codes using their phones. After reading or watching each sample, they will then work together to answer the following questions. For example, what literary genre is this? What features help you decide? Is this genre text-driven, technological-driven, or illustration-based? So after that, each group will then record their answers on a piece of paper after visiting all the assigned stations. The class will then regroup for a short discussion about the genres they have explored in the activity. So here is a short instruction or visual representation of the activity. First, the students will go around the room scanning the QR codes, and then they will watch the video or read the short excerpt in the QR code that they have scanned, and then they will write what they have noticed or answer the questions that the teacher has provided, and then of course they will present their insights for the class. So this activity helps the students get a feel of the different genres before we dive deeper into the lesson. It gives them a clue about the topic in a hands-on sort of way. Plus, they also get to work on a team, use technology, and think critically, all while staying engaged. So this is a simple but effective way to introduce the topic and get them thinking like real readers of the 21st century literature. Overall, this genre hunt serves as a springboard of the lesson or into the lesson, activating their prior knowledge while preparing the students for a deeper learning of the topic. Now, the summative assessment will be discussed by Ms. Estrella.
So for our summative assessment, create your own digital output. So the teacher will introduce the activity by displaying several examples of 21st century literary genres. These include doodle fiction, textula, plus fiction, blog entries, and illustrated novel pages. The students will then choose one genre from the list below to create their own original piece. They will use a digital tool example, Canva, Google Docs, PowerPoint, or any creative app for their choice to present their work. Students will choose their genre options, whether it's doodle fiction, textula, plus fiction, blog entry, and illustrated novel. In doodle fiction, they will create a short story with handwritten doodles, and in textula, write a 4-line poem, Tanaga form, styled as a text message. And in flash fiction, write a story of 300 words or less. In blog entry, write a blog-style reflection or fictional post, and in illustrated novel page, make a sample page with images and text. And the summarization of our learning plan will be presented. For our summarization of our learning plan will be presented by Ms. Madeline Medina.
So thank you, Alfie. This learning plan integrates information and communication technology as a vital tool in enhancing student engagement and understanding of 21st century literary genres. So ICT supports interactive and student-centered activities such as QR code-based genre hunts, multimedia discussions, and digital creative outputs like blogs, doodle fiction, or illustrated novels. So through the use of smartphones, online platforms, and creative apps, learners are able to explore, analyze, and produce literary text in ways that mirror contemporary modes of communication and expression. So ICT not only bridges traditional literature with digital formats, but also equips students with technological literacy rather, as well for both academic and real-world applications, making it an integral component of this 21st century learning experience. So that would be all